How many grams of fat would you all guess are in a McDonald's double cheeseburger? 10? 15? It actually is an astounding 25 grams of fat, which is equal to 38% of the daily fat you are supposed to consume based on a 2,000 calorie diet. All food in humans consists of the same 6 basic nutrients: protein, carbohydrates, fat, water, vitamins, and minerals. Today I will teach you a little bit more about proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Fats can be classified into saturated and unsaturated. Saturated fats are typically found in animal foods, such as meat and dairy products. Examples include beef, lamb, pork, milk, cheese, butter, and ice cream. Foods high in saturated fat can also be high in dietary cholesterol, according to the American Heart Association. Certain plant foods, such as coconut oil and palm oil, can be high in saturated fat, but not dietary cholesterol. Saturated fats are typically known to be worse for your health than unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats can be found in certain plant foods and fish. These good fats can be found in liquid vegetable oils, but not tropical oils such as coconut and palm. Oily fish, such as salmon, trout, and tuna, contain a type of unsaturated fat called omega-3 fatty acids, which can be very beneficial to your health when used in moderation. Most nuts and seeds contain another type of unsaturated fat called omega-6 fatty acids. Enough about fats. Let's talk a little bit more about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can be classified into simple and complex. Complex carbohydrates are digested slowly into their simpler form, that is glucose, therefore not putting too much pressure on the digestive system. Complex carbs can be very good for your health. Examples of complex carbs include whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and legumes. Simple carbs, on the other hand, are digested quickly and raise your blood sugar level. Examples of simple carbohydrates include potato chips, cookies, French fries, pasta, hot dogs, and sugary cereals, and so many of the other things that most of us love. Finally, let's learn a little about protein. Protein can be very good for you and can fill you up so that you might not be tempted to eat those simple carbs like cakes and cookies. Sources of protein include Greek yogurt, eggs, milk, steak, chicken, turkey, salmon, peanut butter, and other types of nuts. Now that I gave you a brief introduction on proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, I will teach you how to calculate the number of calories each of these provide in a single serving of food. Fats provide 9 calories per gram, while carbohydrates and proteins each provide 4 calories per gram. Today I will teach you how to calculate the number of calories each of these 3 nutrients contribute to a single serving of food. We will begin by calculating the number of calories from fat. You start by looking at the nutrition label to find the number of grams of fat in a single serving. Then you multiply this number of grams of fat by the 9 calories per gram that fat provides. In this example, I am going to use a box of Oreos. Oreos have a serving size of 34 grams with 15 servings per container. According to the label, Oreos have 7 grams of fat per serving. Therefore, we would multiply this 7 grams by 9 calories per gram to equal 63 calories from fat per single serving. Next, we will calculate the calories from carbohydrates. According to the label, there are 25 grams of carbs per serving of Oreos. So we would multiply 25 grams by 4 calories per gram to equal 100 calories from carbohydrates per single serving of Oreos. Finally, we will calculate the calories from protein. There is 1 gram of protein in a serving of Oreos, so we would multiply 1 gram by 4 calories per gram to equal 4 calories from protein in 1 serving of Oreos. To find the percentage of calories per serving that come from fat, you would multiply the 7 grams of fat per serving by the 9 calories per gram and divide that by the total number of calories per single serving, which in this case is equal to 160 calories. Therefore, the percentage of calories from fat in this serving would be 39%. Next, we will calculate the percentage of calories per serving of Oreos that come from carbohydrates. So we would multiply the 25 grams by 4 calories per gram and divide that by 160 calories to equal 62.5% of calories from carbs. Finally, we will use the same formula to calculate the percentage of calories from protein. So we would multiply the 4 calories per gram by the 1 gram of protein found in Oreos and divide that by 160 calories. This is equal to a minuscule 2.5% of calories from protein. So that is how to find the number of calories each of these 3 nutrients provide per serving, and how to calculate the percentage of calories from these 3 nutrients in a single serving of food. Now we will all try this together with the nutrition label from a Carl's Jr. Philly cheesesteak burger. Today I have provided you all with the nutrition label from a Carl's Jr. Philly cheesesteak burger. Let's begin by looking at the number of grams of fat in a serving, as I highlighted here at the top. As we can all see, there is a whopping 45 grams of fat per serving, aka 1 burger. To find the number of calories from fat, we multiply this 45 grams of fat by the 9 calories per gram that fat provides. So I want everyone to multiply 45 by 9. You should get 405 calories from fat. Quite a difference from the 63 calories from fat in Oreos, isn't it? Next, let's find the number of calories of carbohydrates per serving. As we can see on the label, there are 52 grams of carbs in 1 serving, aka the single burger. As you know, we multiplied this 52 grams by 4 calories per gram. Calculate this on your own on the side or bottom of your nutrition label. You should have gotten 208 calories from carbohydrates per serving. At last, let's find the number of calories per serving from protein. As we can see here at the bottom, there are 39 grams of protein per serving. So what would we multiply this number by? We multiply this 39 grams of protein by the 4 calories per gram of protein to equal 156 calories from protein in a single burger. Let's compare these numbers in the Philly cheesesteak burger to those found in a single serving of Oreos. So the Carl's Jr. burger had 156 calories from protein, 208 calories from carbs, and 405 calories from fat. These numbers are astronomically higher than those found in Oreos, which respectively was 4 calories, 100 calories, and 63 calories. Let's determine the percentage of calories that come from fat. So, as we remember, we use the 405 calories from fat that we just calculated and divide that by the total number of calories, which, as you can see here, I circled in orange, is 750 per burger. This is equal to 54%, meaning that over half of the calories in this burger come just from fat. I will give you all a minute to calculate the percentage of calories from carbohydrates and proteins on your own. Look at your nutritional label for reference. As you can see, you should have gotten 27.8% of calories from carbohydrates and 20.8% of calories from protein. Let's take a quick look at the nutrition label to notice a few other things. Next to the total fat, you can see the percent daily value, which means the contribution of this burger to the total fat you're supposed to have in a single day. As you can see that I highlighted in green, this one burger provides an overwhelming 69% of the total fat you're supposed to have in a single day, based on a 2,000 calorie diet. This is a crazy amount for just one meal, especially if you had fries with it, as most people usually would. You can look below this in pink to see that the percentage daily value from saturated fat is even greater at 80%. As we learned earlier, Saturated fat can be very harmful to your health, as it is a major contributor to high cholesterol and heart disease. In conclusion, today I gave you a brief introduction on different sources of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and then taught you how to calculate the number of calories each of these provide in a serving based on the nutrition label. You simply multiply the number of grams of the nutrient in the serving by the number of calories per gram that it provides. I want each of you to write down how many calories per gram carbohydrates, fats, and proteins each provide, respectively. I will give everyone a few seconds to write this down. The correct answers are as follows. Carbohydrates provide 4 calories per gram, proteins provide 4 calories per gram, and fat provides 9 calories per gram. This can be very useful in your everyday life, whether you are in a diet or not. For example, if your doctor tells you to cut down on carbs and says that only 20% of your daily caloric intake should be made up of carbs, you can calculate the percentage of each of your meals that is made up of carbs. You could do the same thing if you wanted to increase your protein intake or decrease your fat intake. You can also use a food label to determine how much of a serving of food is made up of saturated fat, which is typically known to be more detrimental to your health. As we saw in the Carl's Jr. Philly cheesesteak burger, it provided 80% of the recommended daily allowance of saturated fat, not leaving much left over for the rest of your day. You could also determine how many grams of sugar are in a serving of food, as most American food contains obscene amounts of sugar that most of us would never realize. For example, I bet most of you would not have guessed that there was 9 grams of sugar in that Carl's Jr. burger. When most of us think of sugar, we think of cookies and cakes, but it also is a simple carb that we found in the bun of that Carl's Jr. burger. I hope today's presentation was informative, and feel free to ask me any questions.